we're talking about selfishness, and we're talking about self-centeredness and all this kind of stuff. Like the subject of like codependency pops up in some way. And I just want to remind people that like a lot of the things that you get called selfish for, and like people work these mental gymnastics to say that, well, spouses are selfish too because you're just trying to control people to get what you want. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like that is like, that's like calling the sandbag that stands between the house and the flood selfish for not letting God's will happen. Like, no, I'm trying to hold on for dear life over here. I am managing crisis after crisis to protect the family, the household, the finances. From falling apart. If you want to call me selfish, then call me selfish, but you got a pretty effed up definition of what selfish is.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
Hey, if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, please do so by going to tufo.com, scrolling all the way to the bottom, and there is a little box you can put your email address in and sign up for a free newsletter that will hit your box every Monday, 5 a.m. our time, so you can read it over coffee. It's got a lot of, well, I think anyway,
I love it.
biased.
I think it's amazing.
It's got some good thoughts to consider. It's got some motivational stuff. It's got some recommendations for books or articles to check out. It's a different topic usually every week based on whatever I think you may want to know about. And it's something I enjoy doing. It's something I hope that you enjoy as well if you already subscribed. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. We've also got a free Facebook community available by going to our website or clicking the profile link in any of our social media profiles. And we've got a free Facebook community. If you're a listener, you're not in there, what are you doing? Come on, hop in, join in. If you're a wheelie, let's invest. You will be exposed to thousands of other people that are going through the exact same thing. You will find experience, strength, and hope from other people like you would never imagine is available out there in the world. You're also going to be encouraged to do things like taking care of yourself, which we will discuss today in this episode.
Yay!
As we discuss reframing selfishness.
Yes.
We've also we restocked our In My Villain era tees. We've got some new shirts that are not out yet. I'm actually wearing one of them right now.
I love it.
A teaser. It's if you're just listening, you're like, what is he wearing? Well, I'm wearing it's the logo from our sweatshirts, but it's on a t-shirt, but it's nice and thin and stretchy for the summertime because I sweat like a pig. And I
sweat more than you.
We've also got recovery rocks up there. Holding one of them now. It's got our logo on the front, and on the back it says, "Thank you for being my rock." This is a really cool token of appreciation that you can give your spouse. If you are someone who's working through recovery and you're a listener and you want to find a way to acknowledge the journey of a spouse or partner that has walked with you through this, it's an excellent way to do it. A lot of 12-step programs give tokens to people that are working through those programs, but spouses and partners really don't have anything like that, and certainly not presented to them from the very person that put them through hell. So it's a nice way to give back. It's a nice token of appreciation, and it's sort of a symbol that says, I see you, I hear you, and I'm working on it. So
Yes.
Pretty cool. They're available on our site as well. We've also got a course called Independently Strong. If you haven't heard about it already, if you've ever wondered, hey, how did Paige get to where she is today? Well, we put it into a course. We actually got with a professional to do this as well. So it's not just Paige's experience or my experience, even though those are both in there. It's also the experience of a licensed clinician that is going to walk you through concepts such as, what is codependency? Is that even a real thing? What does recovery look like for a spouse? What is trauma? What is abuse? What is addiction really at the end of the day? You're going to get a different look at a lot of concepts that you've probably wondered about for a very long time. An interesting new way to look at it. It's a first of its kind that I'm aware of anyway, course that's available specifically for spouses and partners of people that have struggled with substance abuse. You also get access to an exclusive community within Independently Strong that meets remotely every Wednesday evening, and Paige is in those meetings. So it's a place to ask questions, talk. It's a really, really awesome, healthy community. People that are taking action. They're working towards something. It's not to say that the others aren't, but these are people that are actively working in it every single day. And that's just an added bonus with that. Every time we update the course or change something, you will also get access to that. And there's also community within Independently Strong where you can post, you can write things, you can respond to things. It's great. It's awesome. It's available for 75% off by going to our website or independentlystrong.com and using the code Wheelies75. That's Wheelies with an S, 75. Last thing, Paige has her own episodes. It's like her own podcast, but it's amazing. Short, quick, amazingly motivational episodes that release every Friday morning called Paige's Perspective. If you are not seeing those, that's because you're not subscribed to the show and we just caught you.
Busted.
So, listen, if you're not subscribed to the show, please do so. You can, whatever app you're on, just click the follow or subscribe button. You can get notified each time a new episode is posted. And if you haven't left us a review, please do so. We would love to hear what you think. It also makes the show more discoverable for people. If you've gained something from this, you can pay it forward in some way by simply leaving a review. It makes it easier for other people to find the show. So that's all we have for
Dang, you crushed that intro.
I wanted to run through those, so we didn't spend too much time there.
One day you're going to have to let me go through it.
That'd be fun.
No. Can you imagine?
I would love to watch you bounce through those.
You've been doing it for so long. You've got it. You nailed it. And I'm just proud of you. That's awesome.
Got it. The episode that we're going to discuss, so we talked about it just for a second, but reframing selfishness. This was actually the topic of the newsletter that I released this morning. It's about reframing selfishness. And if you don't subscribe to the newsletter, I'll just go through that briefly, what sort of that was about. It kind of dealt with boundaries. A lot of the times people feel guilty for setting boundaries, and boundaries they're very complex, but they're actually quite simple. When you have a value and you want to protect that value, you set up boundaries to protect the value. And that means inherently that you value, that's a terrible way. I was going to say you value the value. You cherish that value
there you go.
more than you care about other people's reactions to you protecting your values. Mm-hmm. Through boundaries. And I talked about this. I presented this from the other side of the street because I'm in recovery and my most important value is sobriety. And I've had to protect my sobriety by installing boundaries in my life. And it's changed a bit over time, but early on, I didn't put myself in situations where there was going to be a bunch of drugs and alcohol. I couldn't do it. And that meant that I didn't go to a lot of business dinners where there was like marketing opportunities or business opportunities. I didn't go to bachelor parties. I didn't go hang out with people that I normally would have. I distanced some relationships. My life looked a lot different. And did people talk shit behind my back? Most likely. Did they make fun of me? Most likely. Do I care? Absolutely effing not. I do not care.
Yeah. And even if you did have to put yourself in those situations, you had boundaries on, hey, I'm going to leave early if I feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Remember the safe word and stuff.
So would anyone call that selfish?
No.
Right. Well, and that's what's interesting about this, because you look at sobriety, and I think you could ask most people, you would say, is this selfish? And people they understand the wreckage that addiction could cause. And they're like, that's not really selfish. I think they're doing the right thing to protect themselves. And my question was, well, how is that any different than someone who values safety or honesty or integrity, putting boundaries around themselves to protect their values? Just because sobriety seems more wholesome and understandable doesn't mean it's any more important than your values that you carry right now. And I didn't want people feeling like their needs or their values were any less important than anyone else's around them. It's just, it's scary to come to a point where you're sort of willing to stick your middle finger up to the world and say, I'm taking care of me. Mm-hmm. And I would argue that is not selfish. That is not selfish. So we're going to reframe selfish, because there's a lot of people that listen, a lot of wheelies out there that feel terrible when they start taking care of themselves, when they start taking time away from other people to focus on themselves, to work on their healing, to get fit, to do any number of things that are going to better you and really take care of you. And they're going to feel horrible for it, because you're just such a giver. You're used to being there for other people.
You may not have the support that you're hoping for.
That too, right?
If you're with somebody who is in active addiction, may not be supporting your boundaries.
Right.
They might be calling you selfish. And it's hard because that's your life partner and you're thinking, oh man, am I being selfish? And it's hard to understand what's right and wrong for yourself when you're in it.
Yes. And the people that benefit the most from you not having boundaries are going to be the people that get the most upset when you set them.
Right.
I promise you that.
Right.
You're going to figure out real quick who exactly has been using you in ways that were to your detriment.
Well, yeah. I mean, if people start throwing a fit because of your boundaries, that means that boundary needed to be put in place.
Yeah.
For your safety.
Very good chance for that.
Yeah.
So we're going to discuss selfishness today and reframe it for a lot of people that may feel selfish or may feel like they have no place to do these sorts of things, or they may feel like, well, I'm a hypocrite if I if I don't let him do this and then I do that or whatever, right? We're going to reframe selfishness. I hope anyway in this conversation to give you the power you need to take care of you and not feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
It may feel a little funny at first.
It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel wrong. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It might feel icky. You might feel like you're going to the complete other side, which is possible. And then you're going to feel like, okay, how am I going to find the middle ground? But you got to do something. You got to do something than what you were doing before.
Yes.
Because that wasn't working. So I wanted to talk about what the definition of selfishness actually is. It's the focus on your own needs, desires, and interests, often at the expense of others. What does that sound like?
Addiction.
Right. Because in addiction, when you are wanting to get your substance or you're needing to do things, you're being very selfish in that moment. You're only thinking about your needs and what you need, and you're not putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I just left a treatment center meeting. So I'm in the mood to talk right now because I've had some great conversations.
No, I love it.
tonight.
I want to hear it.
Steve, who's been on the show, he's got one of the most beautiful stories of recovery that I've ever heard in my life. I've heard his story like hundreds of times and I still get choked up. I know what's coming, but I still get choked up, man. He's such a good speaker and because he means what he says, it's authentic. But he was talking about all the crap that he did for years and years and years and years. And that's using drugs. He would drink, he would do whatever, right? And sort of not being present with his family. And he's like, I burned down not just one family, one business, but he did it twice. He went through 2 families, 2 wives, the whole divorce, the getting rid of the house, the business failing, all that crap. And he's like, and for what? So I could feel better. That's what all this was about. Like, how selfish is that? As long as I feel okay, nothing else matters. And that resonated so powerfully with me because that's what it's really about. As long as I feel good, I don't really care what happens. That's selfish. That's selfish, right? The only person that benefits there is me.
Yeah.
I heard a guy say in a meeting one time, he was like, think about if you ever have to make a big decision, think about it. If you're the only one that benefits from it, it's probably the wrong decision to make.
Yeah.
If you're the only one that benefits, it's probably the wrong decision. And what he's saying there is that's a selfish decision. It's a selfish one. Okay,
so what is the difference in being selfish in active addiction and then being selfish in early recovery? Because many of us have experienced that early recovery is just as selfish as, well, I wouldn't say just as selfish, but you're taught to be selfish in recovery. And that rubs a lot of people wrong because it's really difficult. And we've explained it multiple times how the first year of recovery is really hard. But from your mouth, I want to know, what is the difference?
Okay, so if you've got a loved one who's in treatment right now, or if you've got someone who's recently out of treatment or maybe considering it, a lot of people think that treatment sort of works like an auto body shop where you've got a dented fender and then you take your car in there and then 30 days later it's fixed.
Yeah.
Like, hey, he's fixed. He's home. We're all back to normal. Now we can get back to, focusing on our relationship and you're going to be a present father. Hold up. That's not exactly how it works. When you get out, what's recommended is that you get involved in some sort of a community. So for me, here's what I was told. I can only speak from my own experience. You need to get involved in 12-step community. You need to go to 90 meetings in 90 days. You need to get a sponsor and you need to work the steps and you need to work with other people. Mm-hmm. And I had to go to IOP as well. So for the first 90 days, it was just IOP, like for 3 hours a night. I'd come home and like the lights are already out. Everyone's asleep. And if I wasn't doing that, I was going to meetings and then I was staying late at meetings. I was showing up early at meetings. I was fully invested in that recovery process. Is that selfish? You could say, yeah,
well,
because I'm not home.
Right.
You're having to take care of it. You are still what sucks for the spouse is that you're still in the same boat. Yeah. It feels the same. The only difference is that there's no alcohol or drugs around, but he's still not here. He's still not present. We still haven't addressed my needs, but the difference is that there is something positive happening. There are ripple effects from the process of recovery that feed into everyone around them, right? So not right away, but eventually.
Right, not immediately. This takes time.
Eventually, they're able to give back in ways you never dreamed they could. They're able to be a present spouse or partner. They're able to be a present father. They're able to be present in their careers. They're able to help other people and find real purpose and meaning in their lives. But it all starts with that bit of selfishness in the beginning. And I'm going to call it selfishness in air quotes.
Right.
Because it's selfish to the degree that, yes, I'm taking time away from duties like being your
present partner.
Or a father, or all the things that we ought to be doing. But here's what I want people to understand. It's hard for spouses, and you have a right to be upset. You can be upset, but I also want you to know that this is the reality of it.
Yes.
Is that time is crucial, because without sobriety, you'll never get any of those things that you hope and dream.
Right.
So it's a price still has to be paid to some degree. And it's difficult, man. That early sobriety. And when I say early, I'm not talking about 60, 90 days. I'm talking about like a year.
A year or two.
Like a year.
3. I mean, it all unravels in different times. Like even year 2 was difficult because that's when you started picking up extra hobbies and stuff. And then I addressed it with you because I felt like, okay, you've been doing this a long time. Now I need you to adult. I need you to be there for me, because you are literally learning how to adult. You had to learn how. You were a 17-year-old boy basically when you went to treatment.
Yep.
So whenever you became sober, you had to completely rewire your brain and relearn things in order to be the partner that I wanted. It didn't happen immediately. I had to have a little bit of patience there in order to watch you grow and to get what I needed and my needs be met. You had to go through that. You had to be selfish.
I had to feel every bit of that. We had to go through that together.
Yeah.
And I want to back up for a moment. During that first year, when I say that it's selfish because they're going to be involved in recovery, that doesn't mean that things still won't be getting better. Just not to the degree that you deserve. Not to the degree you deserve yet. But things still get better. Like you will see little breadcrumbs that lead you to, like, oh man, this is getting good. Like this is getting better. He was honest. He's forthright. He's talking to me again. Like the lights
Not
are back
as
on.
angry.
Right. The lights are back on. I can see that person I fell in love with. Like it's all there again. Like you'll see those signs that will keep you invested. And we've talked about this. Like people have asked Paige more times than I can count. Like, why did you stick around? Well, because once you started to work it, you can start to see like this
little bits.
It's like you ever see, I like to watch these time lapses of artists that like make these crazy paintings. You ever seen, and it's like abstract, like they'll start with the painting upside down. They'll be wiping their hands all over it. Like, what is this guy making? Like garbage? Like, what is this? And if you keep watching it slowly but surely, like this portrait develops and it's like a detailed, beautiful picture. But it starts with a lot of rough lines and random colors and random places, but it starts to take shape. And that's what early recovery is like. If someone's really working the deal and doing the deal, you'll start to see signs. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's going to be hell on earth the whole year. It's going to suck, but it's still going to suck less than active addiction did. You will still feel as alone,
right?
But it will be better in the sense that you can start to see the foundation of this life that was supposed to be all the time.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
But sorry, I didn't mean to backtrack you there. You were talking about like year 2. Yeah, like the issue that we ran into was I got really used to taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And you were talking about I didn't know how to adult. And I don't know if I can speak for everyone here, so I'll just speak for myself. But I'm inclined to believe that that a lot of people share this same feeling that I had. It was like I needed to take care of myself because I knew that it would be beneficial to everyone around me. And I just tend to take things in extremes, right? And it wasn't malicious. It wasn't... Like it's horrible to say that I was being selfish without realizing it, but I was being selfish without realizing it. Like I was just completely naive to the ways of adults and the responsibilities that I had really gotten myself into. And I know that sounds ridiculous because if you're listening and you're on the other side of this deal, you've known this all along.
Yeah.
Like I see this a lot where, I don't know, it would be like someone coming to you like at 40 years old and describing how they just described how to add and subtract. You'd look at them like, okay, like that's what it's like though. And
it's just the reality.
I guess better late than never. We can go back at a later date and really honor your experience there and talk about what happened. But those early beginnings in recovery, you got to be selfish. And we're going to call it selfish in quotations because it's good selfish.
Yes.
It's not bad selfish anymore.
You will benefit from it later on. Everyone around you will. In active addiction, no one's benefiting. It's all going to, the consequences are going to get worse and worse over time because you're not doing anything that's going to benefit those around you.
Right.
But in recovery, you are working towards something.
Yes, you're working towards something. And you may not even know what that looks like yet, but you're like more will be revealed. I promise you. Keep at it.
And we were talking about this before where, there were times where I would get really frustrated with you taking care of yourself, putting workouts first, not, eating the meals that I would cook because you had your own meals. You were going on special diets, you were doing all these things. And it wasn't because I was I was kind of jealous because I had 2 little kids. I wasn't able to put myself in those positions.
Well, we had 2 little kids, but you basically had 2 little kids.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Let's be honest.
I was having to, put them first. They were still very dependent on me. And I couldn't really put myself first. I guess I could have had I gone back in time and try to do things, but it's really tricky when you're a mom of especially kids under 5. It's really difficult. You're just hanging on for dear life for survival.
Quick question.
What?
Do you think if you had a time machine, you would go back and ask me to step up sooner?
Yes, I would.
And I think about that too. And I don't think that would have been detrimental to me either, to the process. Because as much as we're talking about this and what we would have liked to have seen and what we would like to have changed, the fact of the matter is that we were successful. Mm-hmm. So if you F with that recipe too much, do you mess with the end result as well? Right. But I think that's one thing where I'm not saying that first year, I don't think I could have been available if I tried. To some degree I could have, but year 2, absolutely. I think because you did bring it up at some point.
I did.
And that all came to a head how? That's kind of where you were before I cut you off. Sorry.
No, yeah. It just because you were putting your self-care in front of your responsibilities as a husband and a father.
Right.
So I finally asked you to maybe be a little bit more mindful to help around, go to work out in the mornings instead of in the evening times, have a meeting at lunchtime or whatnot. And you did it, you owned it, and you were doing that. But what I was saying about me being jealous of your situation is that I wasn't able to start healing or recover myself at that point because we did have little ones. So I was kind of jealous that you were able to put yourself first and I didn't have that ability to do that. I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And I also felt like with your sobriety, that was always supposed to come first. So you had to put yourself first no matter what. And I'm still just going to be on the back burner. So I kind of felt sad about that as well. Do I speak up? Do I not speak up? How do we address this? What's going to come of this? I wish I could have said something sooner.
Yeah. And I don't think it would have been detrimental to me. And so if you're listening and you're in this situation, you're like, well, at what point can we start to focus on me? And I have needs too. Mm-hmm. I'm a human. I need things. You can speak up. And
absolutely.
We've done our best because there is no perfect solution here. There is not. This is one of the most unfair pieces of our story as we lived it, was that there was this period of time where you were still on the back burner as I was trying to figure out how to adult and learn and live again. And you hung on and you did have faith based on some of the signs that you saw. But part of the reason that we've tried to create resources for people is to give you exactly that.
Yeah.
Is to give you something like a podcast to listen to that's going to validate your feelings. Because if you brought this up to someone and they're not seeing where you're at, they're going to go nuts and they're not going to understand it. But we understand it. And the thousands of other wheelies understand it. And we've really encouraged people to get involved in self-care.
Yes.
and to connect with each other. And this is exactly why, because there will be some period, and it's a very lonely period, but it's an important period where you're going to have to sort of carry the weight yourself in some ways and improvise self-care in some way. And it can be small. It can be something little. It can be something like we've got some artists. I love the artists.
Yeah.
That start
There's some talented people in there.
Crazy. It's insane. It blows my mind every time I see
talented.
it. I mean, so many amazing people, but to get reinvested in the things that you truly love doing, and how could you find help outside of even your spouse or partner, to have someone watch the children or maybe offer to get childcare or something along those lines, how can we manipulate your current situations that you can get more help now?
Yeah.
Even if they're not ready. But if you're someone who's in recovery listening to this, step it up, guys.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Give your partner some space. Let them have some time.
Yeah,
do what they need to do.
I found a way to make it work. So I would go to the gym before the sun came up, before anyone else in the house was even awake. So I wasn't taking anyone's time there because I was going to work anyway. So we didn't have a morning routine together per se.
No.
So I was gone, and then I would go to meetings at lunch. So as far as you were concerned, my time was unaffected.
Yeah.
The only thing that changed was I had to work a little harder to get that time in.
Yeah.
So
but things that were changing too is that your body was changing, your mind was changing, you were eating better, you were doing all the things to take care of yourself. And I felt like I was left out.
A little left out.
I did. I felt left out a lot during your self-care journey.
Yeah, and we've talked about this. Like I wasn't aware, you weren't aware of the healing that needed to take place on both sides here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We really weren't aware, but listeners don't have an excuse because you're aware.
Right.
You're aware now.
Absolutely.
So start earlier. Start sooner than we did. Don't
Start
make that
now.
same mistake.
Yeah, don't do it. Like really, it's okay. Self-care is not selfish, right? It's just not selfish.
It's not. But many people feel that way because, and like I've brought her up, God, so many times now. Celeste Yvonne wrote the book, It's Not About the Wine. Mm-hmm. And something I love about that book is that it gave me insight into motherhood and the mental load of motherhood and just women in general and what women carry that many men do not recognize or appreciate. If you're a listener, you're a male, read that effing book.
Please.
If you do anything for me, read that book, please. It's also the account of someone who was a problem drinker and solved that as well. But she relates a lot of the reasons that she drank and what she was really coping with was from the stressors of motherhood. It's for everything that's expected from women. And it's a double standard because it's not expected for men. Mm-hmm. Like the bar for being a good dad is so effing low.
Yep.
Like if I take the kids to the store, people are like, "Oh, look at you." I'm like, "How sad is that?"
Dad. It's like,
those are my kids.
Yeah.
Like that's insane, but that's the standard that society has for us.
Yep.
You have to do the bare minimum, but for you guys, you have to do a ton. And then if you complain about that, you're vilified for it.
Exactly. It's hard being a mom.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. So if you're a male, you listen, please read the book. It's Not About the Wine.
Yes. And that really did change your perspective on a lot of things when it came like to the mental load of what we deal with.
Oh, absolutely. That and then hanging out with 3,000 awesome women for the last couple of years. Has really helped me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes me feel like a complete asshole and scumbag in a lot of ways too for not seeing this sooner. Like, how could I not have seen that?
Well, it sucks because it's like, as your wife, I wish that you would have listened a little bit, you know.
Oh, it's not like you didn't say something. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't listen to it.
But you just didn't understand, or it just, you blocked the noise, and that's just part of how your personality was because, again, you were like a 17-year-old kid.
I don't have a lot of guilt or a lot of regrets about the things I've done in my life, but that's one of them that haunts me every day is that I can't sit here and say that I saw it and help other people see it because I didn't see it. And I feel I'm ashamed of that. I really am. And I will live the rest of my life honoring your experience in some way and also bringing awareness to this so that others can do the same because you guys go through so much while we're trying to get our shit together, while we're recovering, while we're battling this thing we call addiction.
Right.
So difficult. But back to the topic of selfishness. Is it selfish to take care of yourself? It may feel that way, but it's really not.
No.
It's really not. It's really not. So let's talk about what actually is selfish.
Yeah, and this is just basic selfish behavior.
This isn't going to be news to anybody.
No, but it's still just kind of like just my open mind a little bit to kind of we're just reevaluating it, basically going back down.
We're going to go down a list, and then you're going to start to see like, oh, yep, check. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the selfish behavior is going to be ignoring others' needs. If you're prioritizing your own needs and desires over those of others, like always choosing the restaurant you prefer without considering your friends' preferences, that's considered selfish. Most of the time when you ask me what I want to eat, I'm like, I don't know. That's what many of us women do.
That has been a fight in everyone's home.
I know.
Since the beginning of time.
I know.
I want to just pause for a moment because I believe, and I do believe this, that at the root of addiction, there lies this undefinable selfishness. It's almost like it lives there separate from addiction in some ways. But behind addiction, I think that addicts remind me every time I talk to one that we're all different. We're all unique. We are, but we're not, because one thing that we do have in common is selfishness and all the ways that presents itself in the world. Because in order to be an addict, by definition, you have to be selfish. Yeah. It is a very selfish thing. If you are someone who is a normal drinker and you know when to stop, no one's going to call you selfish alcoholic, right? You're just taking care of business. Like oftentimes it's not just the substance that people become so irritated with. It's the behaviors that surround it that we could define as selfish. It's taking time away from the children, taking money, taking time away from the home. It's stealing things. It's doing things when we feel like it, whenever, just as long as I feel good, it doesn't matter. Skipping parties, skipping obligations, not going to work, all the shit that we do, you could really throw it in a bucket called selfishness.
Exactly.
Underneath it all, it's selfish.
And lacking empathy.
And the empathy that, you're right, the empathy that's not present when we're doing these things.
Yes. You're not able to put yourself in other people's shoes, and that's extremely selfish.
You want to know something kind of funny? Whenever I first got sober, I had like this realization when our son was born. So our son was born, I was completely sober throughout the pregnancy and everything else. But like our first child made it like, and maybe you're listening and this is similar. Our first kid made it like really easy to be a parent. And it was like, oh man, like this is easy. Like she's great, easy. It's not everyone's situation, but then the second is born and it was like, oh man, it's like me done over, like this kid came out and it's like, oh shit, he's just like me. And he would throw fits on the floor over the dumbest stuff. It's like, like he would try to take his sister's food and she would take it back and he would lose his mind. After he'd already eaten all of his, and he would throw a fit on the floor and you would try to corral him. And I would sit there for a moment and look at him throwing a fit on the floor and I'd be like, I get you, dude. Like I might have more in common with you than any adult in this room right now, if I'm being real.
So bad. It's so bad.
Just being honest about it. Because I understand that selfishness. It's like, I need what I need. I want what I want. I was like, I never grew up in so many ways. And addiction kind of keeps you stuck in that selfish loop where
exactly,
as long as I feel good, everything's going to be fine. As long as I get what I need. But the lengths we have to go to get that and what we have to take from other people to do that, really, at the end of the day, addiction and selfishness are synonymous to me anyway. That's the way that I see it. So we're going through these. Like you're really defining selfishness, but how many adults you need? And I guess like I mentioned, it does live separate because there are people who never really deal with the underlying selfishness or, develop empathy or recognize the needs of other people or give back. And whether you go through therapy, like the 12 steps are kind of set up to get to all this stuff.
Yeah.
You can't do that process honestly and thoroughly and not come out the other end less selfish. You just can't. It's designed for that. Like if you're being honest, you will be less selfish on the other side. But this is the stuff we talk about: ignoring other people's needs, taking more than your share. So taking more resources that are intended for you. No different than the 4-year-old who takes your crackers after he ate all his.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not having, consideration of other people.
Not listening, dominating conversations, just talking about yourself nonstop, never giving one thought for one moment about what's happening in someone else's inner world.
That was a big one for a long time in our relationship. If you think about that, like think about, oh, wow, this just like kind of connected. Even a few years after sobriety, I always felt like you would come home and talk about you.
My day.
Your day. And now I notice this and I recognize this. You're very intentional on asking me about my stuff, but it doesn't come natural to you. It's not like a first thing that you want to do. It seems like impulsively you want to talk about you and what you've done. Is that correct? In some ways, usually whenever I call you, like there's something really exciting I want to talk to you about. Yep. And then when I finish explaining, I'm like, tell me about everything that you did today. And I want to know, like I genuinely want to know. But the other piece of that you don't see that I can't ever prove to you that's actually here is I think about your needs as equal to my own, if not more than my own. I want you to be happy and I will sacrifice whatever I need to in order so that you get what you want. Like that's what love is to me in so many ways. It's like, it's undefinable. And there's actually, there's this article by this writer. Oh my God. I will link it in the show notes. It was really good. It was about love. Like what is love? I think you've posted some of her articles before. She's got a really cool name. I can't remember what it is now. Yeah. She's got a Substack and it's called Girls. But is she the one who wrote about attachment styles?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, really, really, really good. Actually, you know what? I'm sitting here talking about it. Almost fell over. We're good.
Almost busted.
I just tried to lean over to get my phone and almost crashed the studio. Her name is Freya India. Freya India, and she's got this article called "Love is Worth Believing In." Really, really good take on love. She's like wise beyond her years.
I really like her.
She's
I like how she writes.
So talented.
She's got some great info.
But either way, something that you don't see is the fact, and you will notice this because you can't fake it, is that I consider your needs before my own or as equal to my own now.
Yeah.
And that's different. I think that's possibly more important in a lot of ways because you can performatively ask someone how their day was without actually caring. And a lot of people do that every day.
Right.
But you're right. You did point out something. It's absolutely true. Like a lot of times when I call you and I just start talking.
Yeah.
And then I stop and it's like, now tell me everything about your day.
Today, you did something different out of the ordinary, and I recognized it.
I did? What did I do?
You were asking me questions about the kids, and then you asked me about me, and then you went on to tell me about what you had just experienced.
Didn't even mean to do that.
But it was different than what you would typically do. But I'm just thinking of like the few years which I've always been excited about your stuff. I love to hear about your stuff. You know, it's not one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, I always have to hear about you. But I was one of those like, what about me situations? Yeah, sure. And I did bring it up to you a few years ago because it was something that had been bothering me where I was like, I just feel like you don't care about what's going on with my day. And you would tell me, you know, I tell everybody about you and talk about how awesome you are and how supportive you are. And I was like, I appreciate that, but I don't see that. I don't feel that. I don't know that. How am I supposed to know that that's true? I'm not around you when you do these things.
This is like intentions versus actions.
Yeah. So you would do those things and you felt like, okay, since I'm doing it elsewhere, I'm coming home and I don't really need to like see how she's doing or how things are. Because I was overthinking it in a way, I guess, or maybe you just didn't think about it like I thought about it. So I addressed it and I brought it up, and you've been very intentional with it for many years now. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. I hope that my actions match my intentions better, but I just love that we can talk about this because it is true. I think a lot of people and selfishness, I think a lot of people are going through this, and I think that selfishness for people that have worked through addiction comes off in layers. Yeah. Like it comes off in layers, like like an just onion, like man. Just like little by little, it comes off and it gets better over time if they're still working at it. What I can guarantee is that if they're not doing something, do something, y'all. Yeah. If you're not doing something, this will remain. This problem will remain. It is separate from the active use of a substance. There's selfishness is like just in you, and it's like it's almost hard to define, and it's like this little thing that lives inside of you, and it hovers around, and once you think you've eliminated it in one part of your mind, it shows up in another. And I think that humans are selfish in a lot of ways. We are like it's how we like self-preservation, right?
It's like how you survive,
right?
In certain ways.
It's not always a bad thing, but it gets out of hand with some people, and it gets so out of control and embedded in every part of your life. It's hard to figure out where it is and where it's not. But that's one way. Yeah, you're right. Like that's shown up over the years where, like when I'm going through something heavy, I remember talking to you one time and like breaking down in shame, like pure shame, because I had realized like for the last week or so, I had just been talking about what I'm going through. And I was like, you know, I think I even called it out. I was like, I just realized that I haven't asked you about how you feel about any of this stuff. And like, I felt so embarrassed and horrible about it. And I try to consciously really think about this. And like, I think it's sick that I have to do it at all, that it shouldn't, why the fuck does this not just come natural to me? I don't know, but I know what is better than just leaving it. It's actually working on it.
Yeah.
And I believe in the human capacity to change. I don't think that you can beat yourself up for not being perfect, or you can work toward being a better version of yourself. Exactly. Like those are your options.
That's beautiful.
So let's just get to work.
I love that.
It's tough, but it's embarrassing at the same time because I'm supposed to be the guru. I'm supposed to be the guy that shows other people, but I'm not freaking perfect. Not even close to it, man.
Neither one of us are perfect. It's always going to be, there's not going to be an end goal for any of this. This is just growth and growing up.
Yeah. So if you're listening on my side of the street, I just want you to know, like, do not take a can't win, don't try mentality.
Like, don't do it.
You can be better. Yep. You can be better. Yep. You can change. Sure can. If I figured it out, you can. I promise you that. But anyway,
okay.
Back to these not listening, expecting special treatment. That's like a really narcissistic trait.
Yeah.
Expecting special privileges and things like that. Like that's a whack.
You had some crazy. of this mentality.
Okay, never mind. Take it all back. Let's go to the next one.
But it's assuming, it's just assuming that you deserve special privileges or exemptions from rules that apply to everyone else.
I will move a cone if you put a cone in front of me.
Such as cutting in line or expecting others to accommodate your schedule without reciprocation. You've had some of this back in the day. Like, I mean, the whole rules don't apply to me and yeah, we've been through that. We've discussed that.
Yeah. That's hopefully been worked out of me. You'd have to be the judge of that.
I think you've done really well with finding the gray area.
Yeah.
To where you're not like a super crazy rule follower like me. And you're not like I know people.
Psychopath.
I know people like this. And you're not like that to the extreme anymore.
But I was to some degree.
But you were to some degree at one point. Yeah, for
so
sure.
that's good too. That just shows people if you're on the other side of this that can change too.
Yep.
Withholding help. So if you refuse to assist others when you have the ability to help just because it puts you out, that's a terrible thing.
Like this, it says like not helping a coworker with a simple task because it's not your job.
That's messed up.
It is. It is. And I've seen that a lot. When I was in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that. I was like, I'm going to help you if you need help.
Yeah. Disregarding other people's feelings, interrupting people. Man, the one time that I got roasted, you actually interrupted me.
I know.
And then I just kept talking and people were like, he's such a dick. He's interrupting her. I was like, but no. Okay, but whatever.
I interrupted you.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not my ego is not bigger than that.
Occasionally. Okay. It just happens.
You know who interrupts the most?
Who?
Children under 7. As soon as adults start talking,
you have to teach
them. Man. Here comes all the questions. Like, you've been quiet for the last hour.
No, well, anytime you get on the phone and your kids
you
are
pick
around,
the phone up. Yes.
And it's like, oh, mom, it's because they feel like they're not getting the attention that they deserve at the moment. Like, I get it, but they'll have to learn and grow out of that's not how it works.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, look, people are conversing. I'm going to converse too.
Yeah.
Disregarding others' feelings. This is the big one. Just taking actions that hurt others, whether knowingly or unknowingly, without considering the emotional impact of those actions. That's the gist of addiction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that stuff's awful. Like taking credit for other people's work or ideas, being unreliable in general. Like reliability is one of my most important values.
Yes.
I strive to be reliable.
Yeah.
I try to be as reliable as possible.
Yeah, and you get really frustrated when people aren't reliable.
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had to work on that with you, myself.
It's cool.
You know me though. You know that whenever we start bringing things up, okay, she'll get it figured out. She'll figure it out. We'll get this.
Yeah. Focusing on personal gain. So engaging in behaviors only when they benefit you, without regard for the collective good of everyone around you, or how this could, maybe you're exploiting other people. Maybe you're taking advantage of someone. Maybe you're agreeing to something when you know you should probably say no because someone's too naive to know better. Like those sorts of things that pop up. Neglecting responsibilities, monopolizing resources, kind of the same thing.
Neglecting responsibilities like household chores or parenting duties, expecting others to pick up the slack.
Yep. These things. Okay, well, so we're talking about selfishness for the sake of this conversation. This is what we're talking about. This is the kind of stuff that we're talking about. So let's talk about what you think is selfish that isn't actually selfish. So
wait, what?
Let's talk about things that wheelies may feel are selfish. Like, okay. I hope that at the end of this, they feel a little less awful about themselves for wanting to take care of themselves.
Okay.
So for taking time for you.
Yeah.
So let's say you need to get to the gym.
Right.
And it's going to put your husband out, or it's going to put someone out, or it's going to put your mother-in-law out, or whoever out, but you need time. I don't want you to feel bad about those things.
Right.
You have to take care of you before you can fill anyone else's cup.
Yeah, but what if you are doing things and you feel like you're taking away the time from your children?
I think there's a balance to all of this.
I think it's important to show your children about self-care. I think it's important for them to understand that taking care of yourself is important. Like it's something that you need to do as a grown adult. And if that means that, hey, I got to take 30 minutes to myself, kids, you've got to chill for a little bit. So be it. They'll be okay. They will be fine for that time that you have to do these things. I had to set boundaries with our kids when they were younger and do my morning work. I say, I'm going to go to my room. Mom's got to go to her room. She's going to do her morning work. If you have an emergency, like if you have a boo-boo or something happens, you can knock on the door, but please don't bother me at this moment because I have to do this for myself. It felt icky at first because it's like, oh no, you're supposed to be there for your kids all the time. But what I'm doing and what I did is that I'm showing them that this is something that you need in your life.
Yeah, you need to do the same thing.
You need to do this. You need
some
to be
point you
able
will.
to do this. You need to have boundaries with your children. You need to have boundaries with everybody that you love. Boundaries are healthy.
Yeah.
That was a boundary. Even though it felt icky and they might have thrown a fit at times, I had to learn to get through it and dealt with it.
Yeah. What about feeling guilty for setting a boundary? Like, listen, I value honesty, integrity, sobriety. I value all these things in my own life and in our home and around our children. If you're going to do these things, then you are not going to be welcome in the home. Mm-hmm. Is that selfish?
No. Again, you're setting a great example for your children and for yourself. Because
And you could even get someone sober that way. Careful.
yeah, it's true. It is true. You have to set up these boundaries, and I mean, don't have those expectations that they're going to get sober, but it is a possibility because when we do start taking care of ourselves, the natural consequences start to fall into place, and that is typically when people start to, say, "Oh man, I got to do something about myself. I got to figure this out. I need to get sober," and blah blah blah. But it doesn't always work out that way, but it does occasionally.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, it's not selfish, and they're going to tell you it's selfish, and you might feel like it's selfish because you think that you're doing this, and it's harming somebody. But in reality, it's taking care of yourself. It's taking care of your children. And honestly, it's taking care of the other person too. It's tough love, You've got to be able to do that.
When it comes down to your values, if you're protecting your value, I don't believe it's selfish. I just don't. I'm sure you could come up with some instance where it might be, right? So maybe it's not an absolute, but in general, I wouldn't say it's selfish. When you take care of yourself, there are ripple effects from that benefit everyone else around you. Mm-hmm. It's by proxy the same way whenever I was spending hours at meetings and putting up the coffee pot and then pouring the coffee for other people and hanging out after, meetings and stuff, I'm taking time from the house, but the ripple effect of that is that I was getting better. I was able to come home. I was able to pack into your life. I was able to pack into the lives of our children. And so it was selfish, but it's not. This is good selfish, and then there's bad selfish. I don't think that when you're protecting a value with a boundary that it's bad selfish.
No.
I don't. I really don't. If you've really done the boundary exercise, like the course lays out a really good boundary exercise. And if you don't have the course, if you can't get the course, we did a free episode on this as well with a value exploration.
3 parts.
And you can go through that and really get down to your values. And when you start to set boundaries, those things aren't selfish. You're protecting the things that mean the most to you, that make you able to pack into everyone else's life around you. You're setting up a situation where you can live happily, where you can live successfully, where you can pack into others and get the desired result that's the best for everyone, right? You're not doing it to punish somebody.
No.
You're not doing it to punish someone. You're not just doing it so that you feel righteous in that moment or so that you feel happy in that moment. You're doing it for all the right reasons. That's not selfish.
No.
That's not the same as taking your food after I've eaten my own. I'm sure that some creative addict could come up with the case for why that's not selfish. Mm-hmm. And they often do. And we're really good at doing that.
Yep.
I've often said, like, if you just stuck them all in law school, all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you get the nastiest team of lawyers, defense attorneys you've ever had in your life.
Seriously.
Man, watch out for us. Addict and addict.
I swear
LPC.
there's a book that you all read.
Right?
I mean, there is something out there that you've all read that you just came from the same thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's not selfish. And I want you to think about that. Like, I want you to protect your values. I want you to protect your life, protect the things that you believe in, the things that you cherish the most with the same veracity and the same ferociousness that someone would protect their sobriety, just like I did. Like, I'm not apologizing for taking care of myself. This is what I need to be doing right now.
Yeah.
This is what I need. If I want to be a good parent, if I want to be a good employee, if I want to be a good partner, then I have to do this. It's no different from you. You need to read. You need to go to therapy. You need to exercise. You need to feed your body with the right foods. You need to do all this stuff. And it's going to piss people off along the way. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And you're going to feel bad, but just tell them Matt and Paige said it was okay.
You're not doing it to harm anybody. You're doing it for yourself. And you have to fill your cup first. You have to.
Yeah.
We say that all the time. Like, okay, I was going to do this on a Paige's perspective, but we can discuss it now because we have a little bit more time.
Okay.
Like we talked about earlier about you have to act yourself into
Heck yeah.
thinking. So I've been open about this in the community and in some of the podcasts where I had stopped doing a lot of self-care things because I was focusing a lot on TUFO, building this up, helping others, that I was not working out regularly. I wasn't doing any of the things that helped me heal,
Get to this point
get
where
to
you
this
could even
point
talk
where
about
I could
it.
talk about it. Yeah. I slowly stopped doing it. And it caught up to me because what happened was I started to feel like old Paige again. I started to have coping mechanisms like old Paige again. I was eating poorly. I was feeling like I was almost in survival mode. I didn't feel resilient. I felt like I was just losing my mind. I was overstimulated. I was overwhelmed. I was getting close to how I felt when I hit rock bottom in 2017. So I had a lot of self-reflection. And I probably spent 2 or 3 weeks like just kind of digging into this and trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And I realized, it's because I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't filling my cup first. I wasn't doing what got me to where I was. I wasn't doing my journaling, my meditation, my reading, my exercising, eating right consistently. And I realized that I was basically relapsing in my behavior. And I learned that I can't do that anymore. I have to keep doing what got me to where I was and where I am in order to keep growing. There's no pause button. There's no stop. There's none of that. I have to keep doing it. And that is not selfish. That is something that is really good for me because it was affecting the kids. It was affecting our marriage. It was affecting a whole bunch of stuff.
It got volatile around here.
It did. It did. And of course, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. We still have our moments where things happen, but I have such a much clearer mind now that I picked everything back up and got back into my routine and started doing what I knew worked for me. And I'm grateful for that.
And now you can speak to anyone, even in recovery, about the importance of maintaining what got you here.
Everybody. Yes.
You can let off the gas for very short periods of time.
Yeah.
But,
vacations.
But you will start to feel that old feeling creeping in. Mm-hmm. Like there are periods of time where I don't get to a meeting for sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, and I know. So it was coming up this last weekend, I think. I hadn't been to a meeting in a few weeks because we had something on those nights.
Yeah.
And I told you I have to go to a meeting Saturday morning. I have to go. And that's why, because I know this about myself. I will get back in those old thought patterns, and I hate the way I think. I hate the way
it's the thought patterns.
I hate the way I think. I can't stand the way my brain works. I get so stressed so easily.
Super negative.
Everything, I feel like I'm getting wrapped around the axle over everything that comes across.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, man, it just wears me out. So what's interesting is that, would it have made a difference if I told you need to start doing these things again? Or
probably
would you
not.
Probably bit my head off?
I probably would have bit your head off.
I know.
You know this about me.
And that's why I didn't.
Because
that's why I didn't say anything. But I knew and I trusted and I had faith in you that you'd got, and then maybe that conversation would have come where I had to sit you down and really talk to you. Like, I recognize something and I think I could offer you a perspective here.
Right.
But
we would have a healthy conversation.
Look at how you got to where you were when you were the most proud of yourself. How did you do that? Well, I was doing all these things. Well, are you doing those right now? No. Maybe we tried doing those again. Mm-hmm. And it's that simple. Yeah. It really is that simple. It's not that complicated. But here's like the mental blank spot that pops up for everyone. If you're in recovery, this happens. If you're just working toward growth and being a better person, this happens. If you're in recovery from the other side of addiction, this happens as well. You will get to a point where you get comfortable and you will stop doing the things that got you where you are.
Yeah.
And then you will start to try to think your way out of that issue, whatever it is. And maybe it works one time, maybe it works 2 times, but at some point it stops working and you're not going to go back to doing the things that got you here. You're going to go back to thinking harder about it.
Yep.
And then before you know it, you're back in your therapist's office, bawling your eyes out, wondering what's is going on.
Me?
You are not going to be able to think yourself back into that pattern. You have to act yourself into it. And we've talked about it more times than I can count here. You have to act yourself into right thinking.
Yeah.
You cannot think your way out of this problem. You have to act your way out of it.
Yeah.
You have to take action. And that means intentional work towards self-care. And it's not selfish.
Right. And that's why I'm always preaching that motivation doesn't last very long.
No, that's just got an expiration date on it.
Yeah, it does. And if motivation kept people going and everybody would be, healthy and happy and doing the right things because you're like, oh, I'm motivated all the time. Well, the reality is motivation is very short-lived.
It's so temporary.
So then you have discipline.
Take advantage of it when you have it.
Absolutely.
But you're right, discipline.
Discipline. It's when you know that if you don't do this, that you are going to go down a path that you don't want to go down. And I've gotten to that point now. I'm so intentional with my self-care now that I'm like, if I don't do this, I'm going to go backwards. And I don't want to do that. I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. Like I would look at myself in the mirror and I would be so negative.
Like
towards
something's
myself.
off.
Like I just wasn't recognizing myself, and my face was tight, and I was just like, I could just tell. And I know that whenever I do that, I'm like, something has to change.
Yep.
So I did. I changed.
So proud of you. I'm
Thank you.
so freaking proud of you for recognizing it, and then not just recognizing it, but then doing something about it, taking the action. It's a beautiful thing to watch. It really is when people figure it out, and I love watching it. But there's no secret to it when you start to feel this way. Like I don't remember if you wrote about this or if it was an episode or if it was just something you put in the community. I don't remember. But at some point you were asking people, what were you like when you were on fire?
Yes.
What were you like when you were the woman that you could look at and be like, that's me.
Yeah.
That was me. What were you doing in your life at that time? Think about it. And I would venture to say you're probably doing none of those things now.
Yes.
So what are those things?
It's typically taking care of yourself.
It is. And maybe life has changed because you have kids now and there's different responsibilities.
Yes, our identity
but some
changes.
form of that exists. Some form of that exists. Maybe even some of those old things exist that you can go back to in some way to rediscover that fire because it's not gone anywhere. It's just a little muted right now. You know, those embers are still glowing and you can reignite them with a little bit of oxygen, but it requires you to push.
Yeah.
You're going to have to blow on it a little bit to get that thing going again, but it requires action. But you cannot think yourself into right acting. You have to act yourself into right thinking. And when you're doing these things, it is not selfish like you consider selfish.
Yes.
It is not the same selfish. I think for many people, the biggest fear they have in the world is that they're going to give someone an angle to call them a hypocrite. Mm-hmm. So many people feel this way.
Hey, that was me. I was definitely me for a long time.
Is that just like normal human psychology or is that just me and you where like I need to design my life in such a way where I'm consistent so that someone can't call me out for being a hypocrite?
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of people avoid doing things that are quote unquote selfish so that someone can't come back. Usually
especially those who are scared of confrontation
that they're married to, possibly an addict in their life, like me.
Exactly.
That is going to say, well, you do this and this and that. And then you have to defend it because you're right. You don't like the confrontation because confrontation has always been so one-sided and so incredibly abusive and impossible to deal with. So it's like, I don't want to even get in a situation where that's possible. So I'm not even going to do something that would possibly give them ammunition.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's not selfish. And you can... If you had to die that night, you could die with a clean conscience knowing that what you're doing to take care of yourself is not selfish. That is self-care. You have to act yourself into right thinking. You're not going to be able to think your way out of this one. I promise you won't.
Yep.
Millions have tried. They've all failed. It requires intention. It requires doing
intentions
something.
Without excuses.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all we've got here. I wanted to, well, that was loud. I don't know if anyone heard that.
It just scared me.
I think they knew they were recording or something because they did it right when they rolled by.
Yeah.
Rev their engine. But anyway, reframing selfishness in a way that I hope inspires someone to rethink the way that they're living their life. If you've always been a people pleaser, and that's not to say it in a negative way, it means that you're a very caring, compassionate person. Something I did want to say is when we're talking about selfishness, we're talking about self-centeredness and all this kind of stuff, like the subject of like codependency pops up in some way. And I just want to remind people that like a lot of the things that you get called selfish for, and like people work these mental gymnastics to say that, well, spouses are selfish too because you're just trying to control people to get what you want. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like that is like, that's like calling the sandbag that stands between the house and the flood selfish for not letting God's will happen. Like, no, I'm trying to hold on for dear life over here. I am managing crisis after crisis to protect the family, the household, the finances. From falling apart. If you want to call me selfish, then call me selfish, but you got a pretty effed up definition of what selfish is.
Yeah.
That's not selfish. Is it control in some way? Yeah, but what's the intention? It's all, the context matters, right? The context matters. So I don't want you to feel selfish for some of these things. That's not even the right word. We'll call it something else. I'm okay with having a different category for those types of things, but I'm not calling it codependency. I'm not calling it selfishness Yeah. Is it survival? Yeah, probably a little more like that.
Yeah.
It's like managing a crisis. That's what it's a little more like. But selfish? Nah.
No.
It ain't selfish like you think of selfish.
No.
Like most people think of selfish. Like I was selfish.
Right.
Definitely not that kind of selfish.
Yeah.
I hope that people know that.
Yeah. Good call.
All right. And that's all we've got.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
That shirt makes you look really buff. I've been staring at your arms and your chest area, unless you've been working out.
No, I've not been working out today. This is just a flattering shirt, which if
Whatever, you're buff.
It just shows the buffness. So hey, get a shirt. Even the Villainaire's tees are made in that same material, so it accentuates you. It makes you look buffer than you are. That's all I gathered from it, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, well that's all we've got. Until next time, I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.